My name is Justin Mirche, and in this video we're going to discuss, is debt consolidation a good idea? Where I see most of my clients looking towards debt consolidation as a solution is when they're overwhelmed with credit card debt. If you fit into this class, please watch the rest of this video. Okay, in this video, we're going to define what debt consolidation is, and then we're going to examine the pros and cons of debt consolidation, and then we're going to discuss the number one trap to avoid. Okay, so what is debt consolidation anyway? So debt consolidation is when you're trying to retire old installment and possibly credit card accounts and replace it with another loan. A good example of debt consolidation would be to take a personal loan to pay off all your credit cards. In fact, that's probably the number one reason that people take a debt consolidation loan. They've let their credit cards get out of control, they're getting killed on interest, their minimum payments are in the hundreds of dollars a month, eating up all their disposable income, and they're barely making any progress towards principal. So they're looking for a solution. What do I do in this situation? I'm paying out this much money and it's all going to the financial institutions. Debt consolidation may be a good answer in that type of a situation. Where I see a lot of people get confused is when they're actually looking to take a debt consolidation loan or consolidate their debts, and they're being bombarded by these debt settlement companies that dress themselves up as debt consolidation companies. Don't be confused by this. A debt consolidation loan is probably going to help your situation and grow your scores in a vast majority of these types of situations. The debt settlement companies, that's a whole different thing, and I'll make another video concerning that, and we can talk our way through that, but it's a totally different thing. Okay, so there's really three different types of debt consolidation loans. The first one we already talked about. It's a personal loan that you can take to help you retire some of your older debt that's more expensive, that has a higher APR, that's kind of killing your disposable income for the month. You're essentially refinancing this debt. Now, in order for you to get a good personal loan, understand that you must have good to excellent credit. What I see in a lot of cases is people are trying to get debt consolidation loans, and their credit isn't sufficient to get a decent personal loan. Now, you may be able to get a subprime loan, but if you're going to trade bad debt for bad debt, that may not be the best idea. What we're trying to do is we're trying to trade bad debt for good debt. Another type of debt consolidation loan is going to be a home equity loan. A common way that people will take debt consolidation loans is to cash out the equity in their homes. They're called a home equity loan. Again, you have to have pretty decent credit, and they take out the equity from their home and they pay off that bad debt with it. The third and final way, if you have good to excellent credit, and you have high credit limits on your credit cards, is to do either balance transfer offers, which means that you can transfer money from high interest to no interest, usually costs you 2 to 4% for a balance transfer rate, or you can open up a new account that gives you a high limit and 12 to 18 months of no interest. Now, before we talk about the dangerous trap to definitely avoid when it comes to debt consolidation loans, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'll be working hard to bringing you a video every weekday, and it's going to be over relevant personal finance topics, including credit and also lending. So what is the dangerous trap that people fall into when they do a debt consolidation loan? Well, it's simple. They repeat the same behavior that got them in that circumstances to begin with, right? So you have, let's say, 5 different credit cards, $20,000 worth of debt. You get a debt consolidation loan to cover that, and now you've got 5 beautiful credit cards that are all zero or next to zero balances. And now in your brain, you start thinking, man, I really do need that pair of shoes, or let me take my wife out to a really nice dinner, because you've got $20,000 worth of debt. I can't tell you how many clients have gotten a debt consolidation loan to solve their problem, and then they created the same problem all over again, right? At some point, you're not going to be able to take a loan to get out of that debt. So the trick is to not fall back into the thing that got you there to begin with. And that means you're going to have to look at your budget. You're going to have to make some changes and some sacrifices so that you don't fall into that trap again. Okay, in this segment, we're going to talk about the pros of debt consolidation. The number one pro of debt consolidation is if you have X amount of dollars that are going out every month, and a majority of that money is being spent on interest, not paying down principal, and let's say that you're spending $500 a month on those credit card payments. A debt consolidation loan potentially can save how much money you're spending on that same debt. So now, as an example, instead of spending $500 a month of your disposable income, now you're only spending $250 a month of your disposable income. So you've got $250 extra that you didn't have before, and likely you're paying less interest and you have better terms. That's a huge pro. Now, what do you do with that $250? Well, if it were me, I would put that money towards my retirement. I'd put it in a 401k, in an IRA. I would save it. I would pay more towards the loan. Those are good usages of that $250. Another pro of debt consolidation is that it makes your budget more simplistic. If you had your 5 credit cards that you've just all extinguished, you don't have to worry about paying those 5 credit cards. You're only paying the one debt consolidation loan over here. Another thing I really like about the debt consolidation loans is that because you're clearing out your credit cards in most cases, you're actually going to see an increase in score. Now, you have a debt consolidation loan, you've got a new inquiry, you've got a brand new credit account, and that brand new credit account on the personal loan side of things is at the top of its utilization. If you borrowed $20,000, you probably owe pretty close to that when you first take out that personal loan for your debt consolidation reasons. All of those things are considered negative, but you just cleared out all of your credit cards over here. And that is huge when it comes to the credit scoring algorithm. That credit utilization piece, extinguishing all that debt, especially if you were in the 80, 90, or 100% credit utilization area, is going to be a massive positive. So you've got some negative over here, some positive over here, and the net effect is definitely going to be positive. Okay, now here's some cons of debt consolidation loans. Now, there's a lot of different places you can go for these types of loans. And what they're called is signature loans. If you have good or excellent credit, you don't have to put up collateral, and there's lots of different companies on the internet where you never actually have to step foot into a bank to apply for these. One of these that I would recommend is called SoFi, SoFi.com, SoFi.com. I've actually taken personal loans from this company. They allow you to take up to $100,000 and have really good rates, but you have to have good credit. Now, here's a con of debt consolidation. If you get denied from a place like SoFi, you're going to have a ton of companies reach out to you and try to market to you, and they're going to all be subprime companies. Now, you may be desperate to extinguish some of that credit card debt, but if you're replacing that debt with a longer term, higher interest loan with lots of fees, it doesn't make sense. So depending on the terms of the loan, you may actually end up paying more interest over time. And if your credit isn't good, you're likely going to be paying a much higher interest rate, lots of extra fees, and the whole situation is just going to become undesirable. If you have credit challenges, or you may just need some help putting your credit together, please click on the link in the description. We offer a complimentary credit analysis here at Creative Credit Solutions. The only caveat is that you need to pay for a tri-merge report, and we use a system called Smart Credit.